The prison was supposed to be impossible to escape. Cold water on every side, strong currents, armed guards, locked cells, and one clear message. Nobody gets out of Alcatraz. But on the morning of June 12th, 1962, guards made a strange discovery. 3 inmates appeared to be sleeping in their beds, but when the guards looked closer, the heads on the pillows were fake. The real men were gone. Frank Morris, John Anglin, and Clarence Anglin. 3 prisoners had escaped from the most secure prison in America, and more than 60 years later, nobody knows for sure what happened to them. Alcatraz sat in the middle of San Francisco Bay. To the outside world, it looked like a fortress, but the real wall was not concrete. It was the water, freezing temperatures, heavy currents, and a long swim through darkness. Even if an inmate escaped the building, surviving the bay was another problem. That was why Alcatraz had its reputation. If other prisons could not hold you, Alcatraz would, but Frank Morris and the Anglin brothers were watching carefully. They studied the guards, they studied the routines, they studied the cells, and then they found a weakness behind. The vents in their cells was a utility corridor. The openings were small, but the concrete around them was weak. So night after night, they started digging. They used spoons, blades, and homemade tools. During the day, they hid the holes with painted cardboard. At night, they kept working. Little by little, the openings became large enough to crawl through, but escaping the cell was only part of the plan. They also needed time, so they built fake heads. They used soap, toilet paper, concrete dust, paint, and real hair from the prison barbershop. In the dark, under a blanket, the heads looked real enough. They did not need to fool the guards forever, only long enough to disappear. Above the cell block, the men created a hidden workshop. There, they built a raft from stolen raincoats. They made life preservers. They made a tool to inflate the raft. Everything had to be hidden. Everything had to be quiet. One mistake would end the escape before it began. On the night of June 11th, 1962, the plan started. The men placed the fake heads in their beds. They slipped through the holes behind their cells, and they climbed into the hidden corridor. But one man was left behind. Alan West, who helped with the plan, could not get out of his cell in time. By the time he broke through, the others were already gone. Frank Morris, John Anglin, and Clarence Anglin climbed to the roof. They crossed the prison building. They made their way down outside, then they reached the shoreline. At the edge of Alcatraz, they inflated their homemade raft. Then they pushed into the dark water of San Francisco Bay. After that, the story becomes a mystery. The next morning, guards discovered the fake heads. They found the holes, they found the hidden route, and the search began. Authorities found pieces of evidence around the bay, but they did not find the men. No bodies, no confirmed capture, no final answer. The official belief was that they probably drowned. The water was cold, the currents were dangerous, and surviving the bay at night would have been extremely difficult. But their bodies were never found. Over the years, there were rumors, possible sightings, family claims, and theories that the men reached land and disappeared into new lives. Maybe they died in the water. Maybe the bay took them before they ever reached shore. Or maybe they did what Alcatraz said was impossible. Maybe they escaped. More than 60 years later, the Alcatraz Escape remains one of the most famous prison mysteries in American history. 3 men left fake heads in their beds, crawled through the walls, built a raft from raincoats, and vanished into the night. So what happened to them? Did they drown in San Francisco Bay? Or did the crew that escaped Alcatraz actually get away with it? Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you enjoy unsolved mysteries, prison escapes, strange disappearances, and criminals who may have beaten the system. Subscribe to Unresolved Files. Until next time, stay curious,